And welcome into the Big Hit, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to start this show off on the right foot, crashing the boards. Division I college basketball. What a crew joining me for that. Kelsey Howell and Malusi Kitchen. Guys, after over 5,200 games played this season, we have finally reached the Final Four. And real quick, just going to go through the teams that have got there. Of course, the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament, the Florida Gators, have made it. They've defeated Albany, Pitt, UCLA, and Dayton to get to this point. And they are really considered the favorite amongst the experts and amongst Vegas to win the national title. And let's move on to who they're going to play. And that is the Connecticut Huskies. What a run for them, an improbable run led by Shabazz Napier as they defeated St. Joe's, Villanova, Iowa State, and Michigan State. 3 really good teams at that back end of that run for them. And their title odds are considered to be 10-1. And let's move on to the Wisconsin Badgers, the number 2 seed. They defeated American, Oregon, Baylor, and the number 1 seeded Arizona Wildcats to get to this point. Frank Kaminsky really leading the way for the Badgers. Their title odds are listed at 5-1. And finally, rounding out the Final Four is the Kentucky Wildcats. They defeated Kansas State, Wichita State, Louisville, and Michigan in what many consider to be the toughest region, the Midwest region in the NCAA tournament. Julius Randle leading the way for the Wildcats. Their title odds are listed at 3-1. And guys, just want to ask you right now, which team's road to the Final Four were you the most impressed by overall?
The team I believe that was most impressive was Kentucky Wildcats. And the reason for that is because they had the hardest road to the Final Four, beating Wichita State, beating Louisville and Michigan. In those games, those teams are probably considered number 1 seeds, even though their overall seeds wasn't as high as they were. But Kentucky went through a tough gauntlet and got through, especially the freshman class. Since their main 6 players are all freshmen, they really stepped up and showed their skill.
Yeah, Kentucky I think, definitely had the toughest road to get to the Final Four. The way they started out the season and throughout the season, you could see that, they were freshmen. They didn't really have that chemistry like some veteran teams like Michigan State and some others. But coming into the tournament, you really thought they were going to struggle. But, throughout this tournament, they have proved themselves time and time again. The Harrison twins, Randall, they've all stepped up and played big in the moment and kept their team alive. So I think they definitely had the toughest road with, Louisville, Wichita State, and Michigan. They definitely proved themselves against the tougher teams in the tournament, so they did a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. And Louisville was the number 4 seed in this NCAA tournament, but I think we all know they were much better than that, and they knocked off Wichita State, of course, a 1 seed, and Michigan was a 2 as well. Really nice job by the Wildcats as John Calipari reaches his 5th Final Four. To this point in the tournament, though, who is your tournament MVP in terms of players? Because there are plenty to choose from.
Shabazz Napier, because he's been playing by far. He has the Kemba effect going. Like a couple years ago when Kemba Walker led UConn to the national championship, he's playing just as well. He's averaging 23 points a game. He had 25 in the last game. And with the national championship on the line, big players step up, and he's been playing the biggest out of all of them. Well, along with Frank Kaminsky, he's also been playing well.
I'm going to have to go somewhere different. I'm going to go with Aaron Harrison. I think he has definitely shown his maturity as a player, throughout this tournament. And the play I'm going to point to when he hit the game-winning 3, just this past in the Elite 8, just a big-time shot for a freshman. Definitely stepped up to the moment. And he, I think all of them together, but I think he really has come into his own as a player and stepped up in the moment.
Yeah, the Harrison twins have been playing really well. Like all the freshmen have been stepping up.
Yeah, there are plenty of ways you can go for this MVP award. A lot of great individual performances. But let's get into the games that will be taking place this Saturday, April 5th. The first game is going to pit the Florida Gators, led by Billy Donovan, against the UConn Huskies, led by Kevin Ollie, second-year head coach for the Huskies. And a rematch from earlier this year. It was actually Florida's last loss coming at the hands of the UConn Huskies on a Shabazz Napier, who else, buzzer beater. Let's get a quick preview of this game and who will be the key factors for you to win this game, and what do each of these teams need to do to win the game?
A key factor will be stopping the point guard play, because Shabazz Napier and Scotty Wilbekin are I think the best 2 players for the teams. Even though Patrick Young can play a big role, the 2 point guards can control tempo and control pace, especially since it's going to be a close game. I think Napier will probably most likely play better, but Florida has more deeper squad, so I think that Florida will come out with a win, but it's going to be good point guard play from both of them.
Yeah, I think the key for the game for UConn, I definitely think it's the point guard. Shabazz Napier is obviously the catalyst for that team, so he gets their engine running. And if he has a big night again, I definitely think it's going to be tough for Florida to contain. But I think where Florida, their greatest strength is that they have a balance of scoring. They have multiple scores that can give you double digits. So if they can contain Shabazz Napier, and to like maybe under 20 points, I think that they have a chance to win, because UConn didn't beat them by that much last time. I think the score was only like 1.64 to 63. So I think Florida has a chance to win, but it's just going to come down to whether they can contain Shabazz Napier.
And Michael Frazier, he's Florida's probably best three-point shooter. If he has an explosive game, he hasn't had one yet this tournament, but if he has an explosive game from three, it's going to be a good game.
Absolutely, guys, and really we'll see if Connecticut rather, in this magical run, will be able to continue. Of course, that game tipping off at 6:09 Eastern Time on TBS. Let's move to the next game of the night on Saturday, pitting Bo Ryan and the Badgers against John Calipari and the Kentucky Wildcats. Same thing applies. Who are the keys to this game, and what do each team need to do to get a win in this Final Four matchup?
The matchup between Julius Randle and Frank Kaminsky, because Frank Kaminsky has been one of the most dominant players in the tournament, and Kentucky has one of the best offensive rebounding teams. Wisconsin defense is one of the tops in the nation, so I think the post game and the defense will be most important. Offensive rebounding is very key. If Kentucky can get on the offensive glass against Wisconsin, they have a great chance of coming out and going to the championship.
Yeah, I think for Wisconsin, they're one of the best defensive teams in the tournament, and they specifically in defensive rebounding. So they get second chance opportunities and stuff like that. So it's going to be hard for Kentucky, who is an offensive team, transition and stuff like that. If like you said, I think the Randall matchup between Kaminsky is going to be definitely a tough challenge for both of those players. But if Kentucky continues to play the way they've been playing, I think they have a chance. But you have four scorers from Wisconsin who can give you, like I said, double digits, just sharpshooters. They like to run the transition game. So for Wisconsin, I think it's their transition. For Kentucky, I think it's if they play together and keep playing the way they have, I think they'll be fine.
Absolutely, and this matchup again tipping off at 8:49 Eastern Time on TBS. Wisconsin looking to become the first team since 2000 to win both the Big Ten championship and the national championship as well. But with that said, we've looked at these games. Let's get your winners, and also who do you have to win the national title, taking it one step further?
Well, I have Florida beating Connecticut because I think Florida overall team is better and more polished, especially with the seniors on the team. They're well stocked. Wisconsin, Kentucky, I had a hard time picking because I believe Wisconsin has the defense and the coaching to get to the national championship, but I think Kentucky is hot right now, and the hot team usually wins in the tournament, so I'm going with Kentucky, and I have Florida beating Kentucky. It's going to be a tough game because they already beat them 3 times, and usually you don't beat teams 4 times in a single year, but I think Florida can pull it out.
Yeah, with the Florida-UConn game, I have Florida winning. I think they're definitely going to come out on top. I think they're just a more balanced team, and I think they're going to be able to, I don't think Shabazz Napier is going to be able to carry his team throughout the whole entire game. I think he's going to wear all. So I have Florida again in the national championship. Then for the Kentucky-Wisconsin game, I'm going with Kentucky. I believe in these freshmen. I think they faced enough adversity throughout the season, throughout this tournament, that they're going to step up and rise to the occasion. And it seems that whenever they play in bigger the moment, the bigger they play. So I definitely think that this is going to be a challenge for them with this Wisconsin game. And I'm going to go with Kentucky winning it all.
Okay.
Absolutely. Going to be one wild ride. It's been that to this point for sure, and should be a lot of fun to watch. Of course, this Saturday, tune into TBS to watch those games. The Final Four from Dallas. Thanks a lot, guys. Crashing the boards of Division I college basketball, Kelsey Howell and Malusi Kitchen. Coming up during the break, I'm going to hop aboard the coal train and motor on